Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. I hope you all are doing great. Have you ever wondered how a simple line on a paper can tell a whole mathematical story? That's the power of the graph. A graph is not just a drawing, it shows how one value changes when another changes. In mathematics, a graph transforms a number into visuals and equation into patterns and making invisible relationships visible. So we can say that it's a picture of relationships. So in today's session, let's unfold the beauty behind these graphs, understand their meaning and their equations and how they come alive on a coordinate plane. Now let's understand the topic of graph into deeper dive. Imagine you are on a road trip with your friends and you start your car and begin to drive. Slowly at first, then a bit faster. Now one of your friends notes down that how far you have gone every few minutes, like at 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes and so on. Now if you look at these points like time and distance, you will just see a set of values. Now if you plot these values on a paper, like time on the x-axis and distance on the y-axis, something magical happens. That dots start forming a line, and that line is basically a graph, and that line shows that how distance increases as time passes. So that, my friends, is what we call a graph. Now in this video we are going to cover three types of graph. First one is linear graph, second one is quadratic graph, and third one is exponential graph. Now let's move further towards the linear graph. Imagine you are preparing for an exam. On Monday you study 1 hour and score 10 marks in practice test. On Tuesday you study 2 hours and score 20 marks. And on Wednesday study of 3 hours gives you 30 marks. Now if you just look at those numbers like 1, 2, 3 hours and 10, 20, 30 marks, it's hard to find the pattern clearly. Now if you plot these points on a graph or paper, like the study hours on the x-axis and your marks on the y-axis, a straight line appears, showing that how your marks start increasing with the time you study. Now let's plot these points on a paper or a graph and understand the topic of linear graph and their equation deeply. Now before discussing the linear graph and its equation, I just want to say that the linear graph and the quadratic graph and the exponential graph already tells you its nature. You just need sharp eyes and a focused mind to catch it. Their names themselves holds the shortcut to understanding them. Like in linear graph, if you see the I that represent the linear graph must be in the linear form, and the quadratic graph must be in the U form, and the exponential graph is in the curve form. We discuss it step by step. Now let's discuss about the linear equation. A linear equation is an equation in which the highest power of the variable is 1. Like here, x has only one power. So the highest power of x is 1. So this is called a linear equation. So in linear graph, the equation is usually written in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Here y is the dependent variable. So in the story that I earlier told to you, y plays the role of the marks here. Okay, so y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. In the earlier story, x plays the role of the study hours and m represent the slope, that is the change in the y per unit change in the x. So c here the c is the y-intercept. That means the value of y when x equals to 0. If we put x 0, then the value of y is equals to c. So that's why c is basically called the y-intercept. Now moving towards the step 2, that is basically represent the slope formula. Slope formula is basically represented with the symbol m. So slope formula is equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So take first 2 points like x1 equals to 1 and x2 equals to 2. That basically represent the independent variable, and independent variable are the r's, like 2 r's and 1 r's. So here x1 is equals to 1 and x2 equals to 2, and y1 and y2 basically represent the score in the practice test. Here study of 1 hour gives you the score of 10 and study of 2 hours gives you the score of 20. And by subtracting this we get 10 by 1, that is basically equals to 10. So slope become 10. Moving towards step 3. Now in the general equation, that is y equals to mx plus c, put the value of x, that is the study of 1 hour, and put the value of y, that is equals to 10. With the study of 1 hour we get the score of 10. Now put these all values in this general equation. We get 10 equals to 10 into 1 plus c, that is c is equals to 10 minus 10. So the c becomes 0. So y-intercept, c is basically defined as the y-intercept. So y-intercept, that is c, becomes 0. Now put the value of equation 1, that is the value of slope, and the value of y-intercept c in the general equation, like equation star, that is general equation is y equals to mx plus c. If you put this value in the equation star, then you will get the conclusion of y is equals to 10x. So this is our conclusion, y equals to 10x, and the degree of x is 1, so it represents the linear equation. Now we substitute the value of x and y, and we plot these values x and y in the graph, so the graph become in the linear form. Here now just choose the simple value for x and calculate the value of y. Here we choose the x as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is basically represent the study hours, and we put these values of x in marks, that is y is equals to 10x in this equation. If you put x equals to 0 here, then y become x into 0, that y becomes here 0. So basically this represents 0. If you put the value of x1 here, then it becomes y is equals to 10 into 1, that is y equals to 10. So this represents this value. And if you put x equal to 2 in this equation, then we get the value of y. If you put y is equals to 10 into 2, then you get the value of y as 20, that is here. We are proceeding like this. Okay, now let's move towards the graph. These are the points of x and these are the points of y. These are the points of x and these are the points of y. If you plot these all points of x and y, then you get the graph like this in the linear form. Here, if you plot these points on a graph, like the study hours on the x-axis and the marks on the y-axis as shown in this video, a straight line appears showing exactly how your marks increases with the time you study. So this is basically a linear graph.